Conquering Mount Scrapper with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and we're here with another episode of Mini Monday. Yes, it's Mini Monday, and today we have a block called Crossed Canoe. You're going to find the PDF in the show notes with a whole bunch of other things that we're going to talk about here today. So yeah, I was looking forward to doing this one here because this is one of my favorite little blocks, but it's a real cute little scrap buster too. Now, before we get started, let's do the shout outs. Wendy at the Scottish Quilter and Anne at the Quilting Webmaster. Now, both of these channels are doing some pretty cool and interesting things. I have been a subscriber for just a little while, so you know, I did find their content. When I gave it a quick look, I thought, oh yeah, we got to give these guys a shout out. So anyways, when you go check them out, you know, tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you, and if you like what you see, hit that subscribe bell for them, because it would probably help them out quite a bit. Also, guys, making comments, thumbs up, share, like, subscribe. Hype is new. That hype helps change our analytics, and hitting the bell reminds you not to miss any content that we're doing. So if you could do that for us as well, that would help us out so much and get us to more quilters so we can give away more free patterns. Also, the next so long is Twinkle Twinkle. Now that starts February 25th, so that's well underway as when we're putting this one out, when this video drops. Now the next so along for Wednesday will be Happy Scrappy Overflow, and then the Disappearing Pinwheel, right? So those are the next two mystery so alongs, and you guys, you're always commenting on the purple and white quilt behind me, and that's the Disappearing Pinwheel. So stay tuned for those. Those are coming up next, right? So we are always a few months ahead when it comes to the sew-alongs. Also, our Zoom sew dates are in the show notes for Saturday every month, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada. We also have a Facebook group. It's warm and wonderful. We have a virtual sewing room hosted by Discord. We have lots of fun in there. We have all sorts of fun community chats and fabric exchanges by country to keep postal costs down. But the admin said, please answer the questions and agree to the rules. If you're part of that Facebook community, please come join us. But yeah, agree to the rules. You know, answer the questions, because, you know, you might find that we're trying to keep that a very safe, happy place for quilters. Also, I speak for free to quilting guilds and quilting groups, and if you're trying to get a hold of me, you can either message me through the About tab, because that's where my email address is, or you can message me through the Facebook group. Also, shout outs, guys. I found some amazing shout outs from you, so please let us know more. I'm always looking forward to it. The viewers are actually who they're actually looking forward to seeing as well. So again, message me with their link and their name through the About tab on my Facebook, on the email, or you can message me through Facebook. I'm faster at Facebook than I am at email, so keep that in mind. Also, I've got a couple of collaborations coming up this spring, summer, and fall. One is Back to Basics, and that's hosted by Donna from Handmade by Ying with Donna, and she's got a really lovely team of people that are providing videos that are going to teach you some very basic skills. So if you're a beginner, that's the place to be, or if you're, you know, been around the quilting world for a long time and you've picked up some bad habits, that's probably another place for you to be. Like, I've picked up some bad habits. I probably have to watch all those videos, but anyway, so here we go. And the other one is the Quilters Challenge. Now, we have a fun lineup of people there too. Oh my goodness. The idea is we give a theme, right? The theme goes out. What does that mean to you? So I went first, and I'm not going to tell you what my theme was, but I'm so looking forward to seeing all the variations of what that means to people when they think about quilting. So yeah, we've got some really interesting topics coming up on that too. So it's going to be a lot of fun to play along with that one. And I think that's it. Yes, that's it. Come on in. Let's get to the sewing of Crossed Canoes. Okay, we're at the sewing machine. Now I've already scored my pattern with the tracing wheel, and my husband was kind enough to fix it because it broke the other day. Now you can see the back. I'm just trying to catch the light so you can possibly see the bumps are on the back, and that's going to help you get all your things right. That's going to help you line up your fabrics and everything. So that's all there. That's all been done. Well, get it into my cup. Okay, and we need tape. It's your friend, because something goes wrong and you have to pick. You're going to want tape. Tape is a good thing to have when you're doing foundation paper piecing, and I'm just going to cut all of this with my paper scissor, because that's probably a good thing. Now, let's move that off to the side. Okay, so now this is labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not sewing it that way. I would take the dark gray and the dark pink, right? Like the center points, and I would do them first. That's just me, but I tried to get this thing to line it up the right way, and there was no way it was doing it. It was just like, no, we're not doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to square this up, and I think I'll have enough, because I got way too much fabric here. Yeah, way too much. There we go. And that way I've got a nice, neat, rectangle-ish kind of a thing to do. There we go. And this little end here is a nothing. A big nothing. So I have 2 long pieces. So I'm going to make them, 1.5 inches will be too big. Oh no, it'll probably be fine. 1.5 inches. And this will be for the little bits, the little guys, little pieces. So I'm just going to cut that in half. Like so. Yeah. There we go. That can go into the pet bed because it's too small. So these are the small light pinks, and let's see, do we have this long enough? Yes, we do. Okay. So now I'm going to repeat that for the dark. Basically, I am pre-cutting the fabric so I don't have to worry about all of this, right? Like, this is kind of a quick way to do like your pre-cut, and then all you have to do is, sew it and trim it. That's it. So that's what we're doing here today. And we'll just get this lined up, just so, and do 1.5 inches, a little bit more than 1.5 inches. That's okay. I get rid of both the darks. There we go. Throw that over, and so this is going to be long enough. I can make it a little longer. And just divide that in half. There we go. So now we got all our darks cut. Now I know that sounds weird. What I did is I did 1.5 inches and then little squares to do that little square inside here. Right, so these dark points are 1.5 inches, and then just little squares to cover that point. So that works. Well, actually it'll work like that. But anyway, now we're gonna do the light pinks and the light grays. So I got 4 light pinks and 4 light grays I'm going to need, and I'm gonna just take a quick measurement. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting that line that you sew on, I'm putting it on the 1/4 inch line. Right, so I know my piece has to be 1.5 inches wide, right? So there we go. Let's get an 1.5 inch wide piece, and I need 4 of them. Okay. Oops, there we go. So I'm just going to cut 2 of these at 1.5 inches. Here. There we go, and I'll just trim them like that, because this is going to be bigger than I need. So there's my 4 of those. And, okay. I know you're sitting there going, wait a minute. Yes, a lot of people pre-cut their stuff just before they do it. Oops, there we go. Yeah, we got some bigger scale gray print, but in a little spot, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm just going to cut this in 4. Yes, yes, it's big enough. There, just like that. Bang. Bang. There. So now we're going to have some waste on this project, but that's fine. Now, what I will do, the dark gray, or let's see, dark gray, dark pink. Let's do our dark pink first. So we're going to line that up with our piece, and we're just going to go over just a bit, not too much. And I have the wrong foot on. Ugh. Again with the wrong foot. Now, you need a sharp needle for foundation paper piecing. And you also shorten your stitches. Like, I got a sewing machine here that will shorten them up to 30 to 35 stitches an inch. And that for me is my place where everything is magic, right? I have no issues with all sorts of stuff. So we're just going to sew across that first piece. And then we're going to do the other one. There. There we go. And just line that up. And you want to line this up like a 1/4 inch past where you need to be, right? Because that's going to be a good thing. Then you've got good coverage, right? And there we go. We're going to line that up next. Oops, this is a little bit. There we go. Now we're doing the dark gray. Okay, I'm lining that up. And you want the dark gray facing up, right? Here we go. And of course, the pink. Not the good side to good side. Now, this is all about sew, press, trim. Press, trim, right? I mean, that's when you're doing any foundation paper piecing, that's what you're looking for. Sew, press, trim. That's the rhythm you're getting into. There we go. And now we have all of them sewn. So now we're just going to clip off the odd thread, get all of that off, or most of it off. Now, this is where you would take your stuff to the ironing board, of course, and just, get in there. And now, on the dark pink point, there is going to be a light gray. Ugh, come on. This is what I mean too. Sometimes they don't get, there we go. So I'm only going to do one side, and my add a 1/4 ruler. I forgot to mention it's handy to have. You don't necessarily need one, but it's handy to have. And you just take off little things. Now, this is where that gray goes. Oops. And you want to put it more to where the dark gray is. There you go, just like that. And now we can either sew from the tip, the point of the tip, to the dark gray triangle, or we can go the other way. It's up to you what you want to do. Right, okay, let's do that again. I might have lost a few people already. You're just going like, wait a minute. Yeah. I sew stuff out of order all the time. Oh, I should probably do it the other way. Now, one of the things with that tracing wheel, boy, your foundation paper piece just comes, like so easy to remove, right? You don't have, you're not fighting with it to get it off. That's so nice. There we go. Pet bed material. And you get another, there we go, and I just go all the way across. Yes, I do. It's a little on the big side, but that's okay. Nice, easy little block. Okay, now let's do the light pink. There we go. There we go. There. And yeah, this is the really good scrap buster. You put in the darks, the dark colors here, or the mediums, and then you put your low volume. You just have just a perfect little block that does all sorts of cool stuff. Let's see, I misaligned that. Okay, let's get that back under. There we go. There we go, nice and neat. And last one. Yep. Why is this not pulling right? Oh, maybe it's the thread. Yeah. I'm using donated thread. And I think sometimes that donated thread's been sitting too long. So you have to look when you're pulling your paper back and you've got a little bit of thread you gotta move out of the way. Make sure that you're not ripping the thread. That is so important. That is just so important, what we're doing. Okay, so. There we go. Now, we start at the beginning. Here, now we just press this out of the way. And that corner is going to be covered, right? Because you can just check it on the back. And yes, your corner is going to be covered. So now we want to do the other side of this. And we want to make sure we get there. That thread is just going to be perfect. Lay perfectly out. Here. You could do them all at once. I mean, do all your trimming at once. I prefer to trim them one at a time. That way I know they're going to be okay. They're going to all be good. Now, there we go. There. And the next one. Again, you want to check. Yes, it covers. Let's make sure we got this. We got this all covered. Hang on. There we go. Just like so. There. Oh, for some reason I'm ripping my paper. Oh well. This doesn't stay on here very long before it all gets ripped. And we want to put this here. Yeah, right like so. And now, I know there's some concern about the freezer paper method, that I don't like showing it. For starters, if I want really tiny, precise points, I don't find that I can do that really well with the freezer paper method, so I shy away from it. But there's people that do all sorts of things with freezer paper, and they make multiple blocks with freezer paper. It's not just the 1 or 2 blocks that they make. They make several blocks and they all look beautiful. So it's kind of up to you on your quilting journey how you want to go, right? Whether you want to go freezer paper or not, that's entirely up to you, I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying you should try it and see if you like it before you, perhaps state an opinion on it, I guess. I've tried it and it's not my favorite method. But then I know quilters that just love it, so it's one of those it's one of those kind of skills. Now, watch this. See that really thin seam? Oops. That thin seam, it's a little shy of a 1/4 inch. I'm not going to worry about it at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on my merry way. And once I get the 4 pieces sewn together, I might, and stay stitched, I might reinforce that with some, where is it? Where'd my jar go? Some fray check, right? Before I pull out those stitches, right? Before I go there, because That's a pretty thin little seam. It is bigger than 1/8 of an inch, so it'll probably hold. But, you know, it's always nice to have a good sturdy seam, especially if you're giving your quilt to a child. Those quilts tend to get washed more frequently, and they need all the strength they can get. So that's kind of a thing to keep in mind, right? Okay, let's go to the last one here. Okay, now, here we go. We don't even get to the end, and we're going to cut them all off. The other thing I can do is I can do that seam now. If I'm feeling a little that, yeah, it's probably too thin, and that will give my fray check a chance to dry. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to open this, and I'm going to do some dots along that seam, just to make sure. There it is. And I'm just going to turn it this way so it dries. Now what will happen is that will dry clear, and because it's the seam allowance, it won't be on the outside, so it won't be rough, right? So that's kind of a good thing to have. Now we're going to take these, and we're going to line up our ruler, and we're just going to saw off all that excess. Yep, and we're just putting the lines on the 1/4 inch, and because this is a 3.5 inch block, this has to be 2 inches. This little square that we're doing all of that with. Okay. Yes, we are perfectly on that 2 inch mark. Woohoo! I'm just going to put that there for now and keep it there. This one had good seam. Yeah, we did. Here we go. Now we're going to lay it again. Lay it out again. Oops. There we go. We want to put that first one, that where you sew is under the 1/4 inch, right? Just so that you get that perfect cut. You get the perfect trim, and then you start trimming for 2 inch. Here we go. And just to make sure that everything is lining up properly, right? That's kind of important. There we go. Whew, nice. Okay. This is such a cute little block. Oh, look at this. We're losing paper already. There. There we go. So you don't have to sew these the way they're numbered either. You know, that's, you can if you want to. If you sew them the way they're numbered, all the seams are going to line the way they are, the same way. And if you sew them the way I did it, because that's what makes sense, then, you know, you're still going to have them all laying the same way. So, anyways, alrighty. Get there, get that trimmed. There. Alright. Last one. Here. There we go, and oops, get that all lined up. Take your time when you're sewing them and trimming them like this, and then take your time to line them up too, because that will help quite a bit. Oops, there. Now, the layout. You want your dark grays opposing. Oops. You want the dark gray opposing each other, and the dark pink opposing each other. Right? So this little corner thing, that's what it's going to look like. So what you want to do is you line this up. Oops. Line this up first. Make sure everything's lined nice and flat. Okay. And I'm going to change feet to a 1/4 inch foot because I prefer to sew with that. It's just preference. I got this 1/4 inch foot my husband got out of Amazon. It was kind of a story of you had to kiss a lot of toads to get your prints. But we did get a really good one for my machine that I really liked. And now I'm just going to sew on that line all the way down and across. And I'm going to flip that over. Make sure everything's lying the way I need it to. Yes, it is. There we go. Ah, come on. Lie flat. There. There we go. And all the way to the outside. So now, we just do, because it's coming together like a 4-patch, you're going to flip one way, and you're going to flip the other one the other way. So what I'm doing, this one goes this way, and that one goes up. And that way they will nest. They're going to nest, and it's going to look great. Oh. And hopefully you'll have everything working out the way you need it to. There we go. Okay, now here's where I get in there and I trim that open or clip that center thread, because it's really, really important to get that perfect match, or that nesting happens. Okay, there we go. And if you're a little off, don't go crazy on yourself. There we go. There's our block. And what we're going to do is we're going to twist it open in the back, right? So everything lies nice and flat. And this is where some people say, oh no, you need to, you know what? I do my stay stitching first, and then I do my paper removal. And I stay stitch within the seam allowance. There. There we go. And, oops. There. And now we have a really cutie patootie little block. I'm just going to give this a good press. Now you can take all the paper, you can start removing the paper from that center, you know, that where we swirled it. I mean, get all that out of the seams. Then it makes it a little easier to pull, you know, get all your paper out, as much paper as you can out, right? And it makes it a little easier to deal with. And it makes your center flatter. You know, you can see whether or not you've done a good job. Some people, what they do is they do the stay stitching on all the pieces, and then they do the stay, you know, they put them, they do one at a time. They'll do all of the stay stitching, and then they'll sew them together, you know, once they're all, the paper's all pulled off. It's up to you which way you want to go. I find if I'm doing a block like this, I want to have all of my blocks together, then stay stitch around the one bigger block, because I just find it works out better for me. And I don't have to fight so much to get all this little stuff out, you know, because that's where people are, you know, like, well, there's a lot of paper in there. Yeah, there is. There is. And it's there for a reason, right? Now let me just get, wow, I could just about peel all of this out right here, right now. There we go. And get all the inner bits. It doesn't take much to peel these, really. Okay, there we go. And get all the spikes out. The tippy canoe. I guess this block is also called tippy canoe. Or it was called tippy canoe. It has a lot of names. These blocks, some of them, I swear to God, they have so many names. And I'm tempted to do a series just with blocks that have several names to get the party started, kind of thing, to see how many, you know, like how many crazy, you know, named blocks we can come up with. And, you know, it's funny how many blocks there are out there that have got the same name, right? Because I know some of the names were regionalized. So anyways, I'm going to keep picking away at this. It doesn't take long to do. As you can see, I'm almost done. Right? Pulling off all the paper. If I had little fingers like grandkids, I would have this clean already because they're really good at it. And we'll get to our big ta-da moment. So here's our little cross canoe. I have a few more of these to make this afternoon. I'm just like, oh, they're so cute and they're so tiny. This is going to make just a lovely little block that goes throughout the quilt. And you can line them up like any little four-pointed star. It's just adorable when they're this size. Now, I will admit my centers are not perfect. But I'm hoping with the next ones, they're better. Right? So, but I'm not going to take this apart and start, oh no, you did it wrong. No, I'm not going to do that to myself, and I don't expect you to do that to yourself either. You try your best, and that's what you hope for. You're hoping that you've done it, you know, the best you can, right? So I'm off, and it's the width of a needle, so I leave it, because from this, if this is in a big quilt, you'll never see that I miss that point being off the width of a hand needle. So there we go. Anyways, I hope everything is going great for you and you're winning bobbin chicken on a regular basis and your 1/4 inch seam is just perfect. So stay well and take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for all of your support and watching our videos and sharing and liking. It has just been, you've put us on such an amazing journey and we are having so much fun. I hope everything is going so well in your life and, you know, your 1/4 inch is perfect. Everything is working out for you. And we're just so happy to be part of your life and you having, like I say, you're watching us. I was just so thrilled that you're doing that. So I want to say goodbye and I want to thank you with all my heart. Okay? Take care. Bye.